This is the Men's Warehouse 2011 NFL Draft Preview Show, presented by the Experts Network. The Experts Network kicks off the most anticipated rite of spring in American sports, the 2011 NFL Draft. And no one knows the NFL better than our all-pro quartet of experts, a distinguished group of sportscasters and owners in the Experts Network. Please welcome a first-round pick in the 1979 NFL Draft out of Morehead State, New York Giants legend at quarterback, and Super Bowl 21 MVP, now with Showtime and CBS Sports, Phil Simms. A second-round pick in the 1981 NFL Draft out of Florida, a three-time Pro Bowl selection at wide receiver with the Cincinnati Bengals, now with Showtime and NBC Sports, Cris Collinsworth. A second-round pick in the 1981 NFL Draft out of Villanova, Super Bowl 18 champion, Raiders legend at defensive tackle, and class of 2000 Pro Football Hall of Fame inductee, now with Fox Sports, Howie Long. And a second-round pick in the 1984 NFL Draft out of Maryland, a four-time Pro Bowl quarterback, and the 1988 NFL MVP, now with CBS Sports. You can hear him every day on the #1 rated morning radio show in New York. Please welcome Boomer Esiason.
Boomer on Broadway, baby. Doesn't get any better than this,
he was going out there and take a curtain call before
I was.
the show starts.
I was the last one introduced. How about that?
Who are these poor guys out here who have to sit through this? That's what I want to know.
Well,
you guys are the best.
We got a lot of second-round draft picks from the Bengals.
You're starting already, aren't you?
Absolutely.
You know, it's kind of interesting. I went to, actually number 38th overall. I thought I was a top 5 pick, as I'm sure most of you probably thought I was too, but I don't know what happened my draft day back in 1984. That's right. I lasted all the way until the second round. It was one of the most disappointing days of my life, unlike you.
We need to get a coach out here.
I think we do. Both Chris and I could do a lot of talking about the Cincinnati Bengals, but that's not why we're here. We're here to give our unique perspective on the NFL Draft, something that we've all been through. And for these two guys to my left, they've been through it twice, not only by themselves, but also with their sons, respectively. So they have a unique knowledge of the way this thing works. And then Chris and I, certainly being drafted by the Cincinnati Bengals and having our own stories, have a unique perspective on what the NFL Draft brings. And that's some of the things that we want to talk about. And I want to get started with the NFL labor deal right now and how that affects the draft. You want to take a stab at that?
Oh, well, I don't know if it's going to affect it at all, Boomer. You know, well, I shouldn't say that. The little news came out today. That's what I was addressing. But I think the fact that the players are in a lockout, real quick, that they're locked out and teams couldn't sign free agents, I think it's going to affect one position more than any by far in the draft, and that's going to be quarterbacks. There are quarterbacks that deserve to go in the second and third round that are possibly going to go in the first round because teams will panic. I think maybe they could. I don't think they should. And quarterbacks, I think, is a position where guys could go higher than they should.
And because of the rookie wage scale, too. I mean,
well, you can take a
face it, for the first
too.
time, right, you're going to get discounted quarterbacks,
you can reach.
Which we got in Cincinnati with Boomer. You know, I mean, you know, so it's always good to get a cheap quarterback.
Yeah.
It's good.
You know, it's kind of interesting. Phil just alluded to it, that news did come down today in regards to the NFL labor situation. A judge did issue an injunction to lift the NFL lockout. Now the NFL owners, it's their turn to go and appeal this decision today, and it's round 2. We'll get started, I'm sure, in the next few days. But if it does not get lifted, then all of a sudden they have to go back, and free agency and everything else will start within days, but I doubt that will happen. And unfortunately, and Howie, you know about this, the NFL Draft has become a television show. It has become the right of the NFL every single year, and it's gotten bigger and bigger and bigger. 3 days now it's going to be televised, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And this is the last thing the NFL wanted right now, to kind of put a damper on what's supposed to be a very special day.
Yeah, I think the combine, the draft, the pre-draft, all the speculation, it's preparing for the combine. To me, I know you like the combine.
Yes.
I think it's kind of turned into a beauty pageant. I really do. The bench press, how much is the guy? Bring me the guy that bench presses 500 pounds and I'll throw him on the ground. The bench press doesn't correlate to football.
That's what I said, too, to this one guy, and didn't work out so well.
You know what I mean? It's one thing to see a quarterback drop, make his throws, all the throws. It's another thing to try to figure out whether a defensive lineman can play football by running around cones. There are no cones on a football field. You're not bench pressing anything. I couldn't bench press anything. I think bench press is the most overrated lift there is.
Well, but I disagree a little bit. I think it serves a great purpose. Medically, we know what it does. But
Sure.
you get to see guys athletically in a different environment. The bench press, all it's about, Howie, is this. Are you dedicated enough to get ready, prepare, and show you have pride in what you're trying to do? That's what it's about.
You know what? I disagree. I think a lot of guys who are just, we talked about it before, just country strong. Dominican Sue I don't care if he benches 210 pounds, 510 pounds. He can just throw anyone around
That'll show up on film, so they'll know that. Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's my point.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of redundant.
But in due respect to you, I will say that this is a quarterback league on the field. It's not about the guys who put their hands in the dirt.
Here we
Let's
go.
face it, all right? It's about the guys
Here
who
we
are standing
friggin'
up,
go.
looking around, making
Is
all the
this
decisions.
show almost
You know
over
what?
yet?
You know what?
God
That is not
almighty.
true.
Hey,
And I hate
5
that.
minutes into
Well,
this.
hold on. Time
Don't
out for a
take
second.
you not going in the top 5 out on you.
But here's the deal, guys. It is a quarterback-driven league on the field, but off the field, it's a GM-driven league. And we all know that Ted Thompson, A.J. Smith, Mike Tannenbaum are just a few of the examples that have made the right picks. Now, what I want to talk about is about your personal experience through the draft. Now, you were the only first-round draft pick up here. Did you know that you were actually going to be a first-round draft pick?
Yes, I did.
And how did you know that?
Because the Giants called me a week before the draft and told me, mark it down, we're taking you.
And you believe them?
Well, I did. I'm down at Morehead State. I believe anything.
Right.
But I was like, oh, and it's a true story. I go, wow, really? I didn't want to go to New York. I wanted to go to San Francisco with Bill Walsh, to Green Bay, Pittsburgh, Kansas City. The Giants were last on my list, but I did believe them. And thank God it happened back in 1979, because if I came out nowadays, regardless, if I was judged exactly the same, where do you think I would go in the draft? Probably 5th, 6th round. Played at a small school. We don't like his level of competition.
How big are your hands?
They're big enough.
Oh, really? Obviously they are.
They won't get
because-
around your belly, but they're big enough.
Okay. But they're.
He's
I'm sorry.
he's
I
just
mean, what
retaining
am
more
I?
water.
Am
No,
I
go
a
ahead.
target here or something?
No. It's
I
not
mean, but
about-
it's kind of interesting because
Yes.
now everybody talks about the measurables. And believe
Yes.
it or not, they actually measure the hand size of the players. And
Width.
Width, or what?
Width.
It's from thumb to little finger.
Why is it so important? I mean, if a
So
guy
I can
play,
fit it around your face.
Yeah, I know. But the bottom line is, if a guy could play in college, shouldn't he be able to play in the NFL regardless of his hand size?
Well, it's big. I think it's an important thing for NFL quarterbacks. Some guys have small hands; they can't handle it. The NFL football is bigger than the college football. You knew that, right?
Yeah, I do know that. What
Okay.
about you? You were a second-round draft choice.
I would have been happy to go anywhere. When you're playing at a Villanova, you're not playing on television. You played at a small school. I played at a small school. I missed a portion of my senior season due to an off-campus altercation. I'm not sure how I would be evaluated.
An off-campus
And to tell you-
altercation? What does that mean? It's the first I've ever heard of that.
Okay, let's go into that just a little bit here.
By the way, I do remember. I do remember explicitly that you were a homecoming team against our Maryland Terrapins.
We
that would
played
beat
in
the hell out of us.
22 homecoming
Right,
games
exactly.
at Villanova. I'm not sure where I would have gone. I was shocked that I went in the second round. I think maybe the off-campus altercation really worked to my favor with the Raiders. I was happy to go there. I think you were obviously a great fit for the Giants. You never know how things are going to turn out. You've talked about how if this quarterback ended up going to this team, does he have 2 Super Bowl rings? Yeah. I don't know. It worked out perfectly for me. I think I fit the organization. I got great coaching there. I'm not sure I would have been the player that I turned out to be if I had gone somewhere else.